there's another story that the media is spinning. The headline, here it is, quote, falling oil prices put a chink in Sarah Palin's armor. Now, I looked at this, and I've searched the article. I haven't been able to find out what the chink is. And, I don't mean to say their attacks are wrong by any. I just can't tell what the attack is. The closest I can find to a chink in the article is this. One, since oil prices are down, she might not be able to travel as much, which could hurt her national profile. But I don't think that's the attack. I mean, that was in there. But she's not going to be able to travel, so it's going to hurt her national. Is that the chink in her armor? You got to be kidding me. I don't think she really cares about her travel plans. The other is the state will have less money because of oil prices, which could make her job tougher. Is that the big chink in her armor? Where did they get this idea? Sarah Palin. So it's a chink in her armor that she says, well, things are going to be a little tougher because oil prices are down. Are either of those a chink in the armor? They haven't even happened yet. And one of them was proposed by Sarah Palin herself. But buried in the story, that of course would never be the headline, is the lesson for everybody. The media, California, Washington, my house, your house. And here's the lesson. When oil prices were high and the state was bringing in a ton of cash, the state of Alaska didn't spend all the money on new, unsustainable programs. They didn't, try to give everybody on the planet free health care. They didn't search everywhere for places to dump money while claiming, they were the wealthiest country on earth. They're the wealthiest state in the land. This will go on forever. They didn't do it. What they did is they saved. So what does this mean? It means that while Sarah Palin's job's going to get a little harder because they don't have all the money rolling in, they're better positioned to make it through the economic crisis than anyone else. From the article, remember, this is the article about the chink in Palin's armor. The state currently has $6.6 billion in its constitutional budget reserve fund. $6.6 billion in their constitutional budget reserve fund that it could tap into. A few $1 billion more is also available from other pockets, said Juneau economist Greg Erickson, a longtime Alaska budget watcher. Given Alaska's robust reserves, the state is well prepared to weather the next 2 years, says Erickson. As to how long reserves will last after that, there are too many factors involved to say for sure. This is the article that the oil money not rolling in as fast is providing a chink in Sarah Palin's armor. I just want to make sure I understand this horrible problem that they face. They can unquestionably get through the next 2 years, and for some undetermined amount of time after that, but California can't make it through the next 2 minutes. Oh, yeah, and I forgot to mention this. The state of Alaska has socked away $1 billion in an education fund for the next school year, and education officials say there's another $1 billion that's expected to go into the fund this year. So their 2 years of survival includes putting away $1 billion for future school expenses. And Sarah Palin's reaction to all of this. She's calling for another $268 million to be cut out of the budget. Reductions. She has at least $7.6 billion in a bank account that she could be spending on moose museums named after Sarah Palin. She built the Sarah Palin Moose Museum. But she's still cutting the fat. Now, let's just compare this for a second. Alaska. I mean, does this remind anybody of the Three Little Pigs? Alaska has taken their financial situation seriously over a long period of time. They've been able to put themselves in a position that they can withstand a global economic storm. California was having brownouts and almost going bankrupt when times were good. Now they have basically no chance. They are the American consumer who bought too much house and now can't make the mortgage payments. Maybe Alaska that greedy, oil-rich Alaska should bail California out. Well, they are. Alaskans are sending their money to Washington, and Washington is sending it to California. Alaska, the person who saved the money, made a hefty down payment on their house, didn't get an interest-only loan, now perfectly positioned to handle a lost job or an unexpected medical bill. Oh, that greedy Alaska with all their money. Yeah, all that oil money that Alaska has, that California could have. They have chosen in California not to tap their own resources, ignoring all the harm that they have done to their state and to our country. If they tap their own oil resources, they could pay for all of the budget problems that they have. They could cover the budget deficits if they tap their own oil resources, but they don't. They chose not to make money on their own resources. They chose to spend the money that they wanted to spend on things they didn't need but wanted to have. They decided that they were going to socialize their state. And they're asking the only people who recognize it to ignore how they got into this mess and vote for an additional $25 billion in tax hikes and borrowing. They're asking the only people who are drawing a line in the sand and saying, this is insanity. They're blaming it on them and saying, you just won't let us fix this problem. That's like having the arsonist stand outside of the house and the arsonist pointing to the fireman saying, he won't give me any more gasoline. I can stop this fire. Alaska tapped their natural resources. They didn't spend their cash when times were good. Now they can handle whatever comes their way. And they're still putting more away and giving a share of oil revenues back to the people all at the same time. California won't even give their tax refunds back. Money that Californians paid in taxes, overpaid, California is sending them an IOU. And yet, the media and many Americans look at California as sophisticated and progressive and smart. And Sarah Palin, well, she's crazy. She's stupid. She doesn't know what she's doing. Alaskans, they're moose people. You know, they're killing all the wolves now. And did you hear? Their governor had a bad interview with Katie Couric. I mean, who can't handle Katie Couric? When you really think about it, is there any wonder how we got into the middle of this mess? Is there any outrage? Is there any outrage that states who played by the rules, states that are made fun of, states who lived within their means are now being forced to pay for the states that could cripple us all? Pay for the states that wanted to live their own way. They didn't even want to really help with national defense. Oh, you can't have that recruiting office here. I'm sorry, you can't have any ROTC on campuses. I'm sorry, we're not going to obey that federal law. No, this is a sanctuary city. Why should I spend a single dollar on tax money? Why should I send my taxes to Washington so they can go and be sent to California? Why? Why? California, you want to fix your problem? You find ways to make money. By the way, there are other ways, and I know this is hard for you to comprehend, there are other ways for you to make money other than just taxing the bat snot out of people. There's other ways, California, to make money, and that is encourage businesses to move into your state, not move out. Use your own natural resources. I know, you don't want to go to the beach and look at those oil rigs. I know it's tough, but sometimes you have to do the tough thing. Because I'm getting sick of carrying your water.